Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
A guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that purposeful lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to PSGL Season 34, the F1 tier on PlayStation, round number 8, as we head to the Ardennes Forest for the Belgian Grand Prix, a circuit which is 7.004 kilometres long, one of the longest on the F1 calendar, and we could see a few surprises with the weather coming up soon. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me in the comms box this evening is Mr. James Head. James, how you doing?
I'm doing really, really well, Jess. It's Belgium. It is the dinosaur track, as I like to call it, the longest track on the F1 calendar. Cannot wait to get started.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to get started as well. I had a big history as well. 1921, it was built. It used to be 12 kilometres. It used to go through some street parts of the circuit as well, which we'll go through a little bit later on as well. It was 9 miles. It featured the town of Normandy as well. You could actually race it in Project Cars 2, believe it or not, but not many people have the game anymore. But yeah, quite iconic features. We'll go through that in just a little bit later on. But James, last week's race, we saw Ryan take his first win of the season, and he kept that win. Markados did not appeal his 5-second penalty.
He didn't, and it wasn't even reported, that 5-second penalty from Barcados, which I think is a real shame because he was pretty much borderline in terms of speeding into the pit lane. So it's a shame, but he still leads the championship regardless, of course, coming into tonight. To bring up speed with the stewards' report before we go through the standings, only one 5-second penalty given. That was for Jeroen because of a contact collision with Luca Kart, and this was because, of course, in a collision, Jeroen failed to leave sufficient room to OP Luca Kart, who was on the inside at turn 17. As a result, the two drivers collided and Luca Kart spun. Therefore, Jeroen getting that 5-second penalty, getting a slap on the wrist with it as well, and unfortunately dropping himself down to 8th position as a result. And that is literally the only stewards report we've got. There were other incidents, a couple of no further actions in those. Nando also getting a 5-second penalty. That's going to be applied because he DNF'd last week. That's going to be applied tonight, of course, if he finishes. And that's pretty much the stewards rundown. And what that did to the championship standings, of course, was Jess Markados on top by only 4 points.
Yeah, oh, that's annoying. I thought it changed the standings there, and that's why you should always check at the beginning of every stream that it always does that. Hold on, let me get the Constructors' Championship whilst I do that, and whilst I find that image, I'll let you talk, James, for a bit. I thought I saved it, but it turns out it didn't. Sorry about that.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, Constructor standings. We haven't actually had a look into the Constructor standings so far this season. Look at how close it is, though, between the top 4 teams. Mercedes leading on 59 points. Ferrari second on 54. AlphaTauri third on 52. Alpine and fourth on 51. And the whole Constructors, the whole 10 teams that we've got here, separated by 41 points. I've never known PSF1 to be this close in terms of the Constructor standings. We do have that driver standings graphic up as well now, by the way. Quick work there, Jess. Markados leading the way on 49 points from Bradders there in second. Of course, Bradders has had the form, of course, fell by the wayside along with Jerry Van Bussel and Kazizel, who were third and fourth position, 36 and 33 points respectively. Then Black Box, Kian, Ryan, Sam Gamer, Max and Nando rounding off the top 10. Can Markados continue his upwards curve? It was 6th, of course, in Japan. 3rd last week, of course, in Imola. Could it be a P1 tonight in Belgium?
We've always seen surprises in Belgium in terms of maiden victories or people getting multiple victories in PSF1, of course. I've seen Will Murdoch win so many times when I've been commentating, to be fair. But last time we were here in Belgium was season 32. We saw Rowan won from Legend and Shazoo Brock. So none of these guys are racing in PSF1 tonight, but that was the last race we were in season 32 at least. 2 of them are on PC, Legend on PCF2 as well at the moment. But yeah, that was the last one. And the latest one, season 31, where we saw one of our drivers take part in it, Tom Roberts, he finished in P3 in that race as well. So he does have some history in terms of obviously finishing well around this circuit, but it's kind of like a potential bogey trap for him. But we did ask the drivers for their thoughts, so we'll get those in just a second.
We will do indeed, and yeah, looking through some of that form, I mean, it just comes to show the level of esports races I think that we've had that come through the system on console. Now, of course, forging themselves as part of PS. Probably the most famous one, Jana Otmir, finished here in P2 in season 25 behind the pad gold of Louis Welsh. Unfortunately, Jana Otmir didn't actually win a Belgian Grand Prix either on console, so many people who might be his fans didn't know that and are probably good at now at me in the comment section for actually saying that fact, but it is a fact. Jana Otmir did finish second behind Louis Welsh. He finished ahead of Casper as well, the VSR man, of course, back in the day in P3. That was season 25. Comes to show, A, we've aged a lot, and B, we're going to get the on-track action going very soon, and indeed, but of course, I can report it is beautiful blue skies and sunshine, so not the absolute drab atmosphere that we had at the start of qualifying for F2, where it was fully wet.
Yeah, when I saw the F2 qualifying, I was like, please don't make this happen in F1 because we know what could happen. It could be absolute chaos. So I believe the first driver that is out on circuit, it was Volakongan, but it's now one of the Ferraris. Now, you probably noticed F1 have updated the game recently to the new Monza livery that Ferrari ran on Sunday, and I have to admit, it does look Very nice indeed. I don't know how long it's going to last. Hopefully it lasts for quite a long time because it looks really nice. To be fair though, James, I do prefer last year's Ferrari Monza livery better, but there we go. Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, he got his first ever victory here as well back in 2019 around here. And Marco Soriano in the Ferrari, he won back in season 31, and I'm just trying to think who else was in the Ferrari in PSGL that won in Belgium. I don't know. I'll have to have a look into that as well. But as I was saying, 7.004 kilometres as well was a non-championship event as long as goes to 1924. A lot of long straights, a lot of tracks on a lot of corners on this circuit where it does require a lot of downforce, but we got the Rouge Rally chicane where it requires less downforce on the straights as well. So it'll be interesting to see whether they go for a low or a high downforce circuit as they head towards Blanchimont. I'll just try and see who's first. I think it's Kian first. So let's go on board with Kian as he's about to start his lap.
He is indeed. Mubarak actually is the first out on track.
Oh, is it Mubarak?
It is indeed. It is indeed. The pad though coming through the final corner to start his run in the Aston Martin. We can run on board with Keane if you want though.
No, we'll go on board with Mubarak because he's the first one in. He missed last week due to a race ban, didn't he?
He did indeed, and he was saying in his notes as well that he's definitely looking for retribution tonight as well, which is always good. Coming through the uphill section now, that's Radion actually, coming through turn number 3 on the run down Kemmel corner through towards the Kemmel straight. Actually does a little bit of mowing of the grass there on the right-hand side, coming through that inside curb through turn number 4. Now down in towards Lake Combe, 29.9 in the first sector from about, so looking very close. Now comes through the Lake Combe chicane, now out of Malmedy, now towards the bottom end of the hill, down in towards Bruxelles, capital of course of Belgium, as we now approach in towards Bruxelles, and then in towards what was formerly no name, of course now named X Corner, Jackie X Corner on the left-hand side, pretty much halfway through the lap at this point. Q1, of course, pretty much one of the hardest points of the track now for Barrack to try and get in. The Aston Martin absolutely flies through there, very high, 7th gear, very low fuel load as well that he's actually got, so maybe only going to the one run and then spearheading himself into the pit lane, maybe to get 3 or 4 runs in, as he now comes through the Fania chicane, coming through 12 and 13, really on the limit there, Mubarak, as he now comes through Campos corner at 14, then in towards Stavolo at 15 and a 112.6 through the middle sector, very, very quick indeed. Probably will see quicker though in the meantime and behind. It's Mubarak though to be top, as he now embarks on the fastest part of the circuit, 200 mile an hour you can gain, coming through Blanchimont, flat out through 8th gear, now up the hill and towards the bus stop chicane. It's had many formats, even with a bit of hay bales back in the day, but now it's just the bus stop chicane. It turns 18 and 19 as Mubarak now comes out the final corner on the run toward the line. We're already going in the 140s, I think, with this lap, 140.7 to start the night, lightning quick from Mubarak. However, drivers are improving in behind, including Kian.
We watch Kian then as he finishes his lap then as he heads towards the line in P3, but we've got Sam Gamer who came across the line in P1, and Volakonga in that Ferrari slots himself into P3. So we are starting to see some times there getting even quicker and quicker. And just to let you know about a fact that we found, 214 miles per hour is the highest speed achieved at Spa on the run to turn 5. So if you did not know that, you do now as you head through there, because it unfortunately has invalidated. Marlon's now going to be heading towards the bus stop chicane, and don't ask why they call it the bus stop chicane. I don't have a clue why it's called. It used to be a bus stop, maybe, I don't know, but Marlon had a big slide heading towards the final corner. Let's see what his lap time is going to be. 140.647 as he crossed the line, and Wiener is filling in for Louis, I believe, in the Williams. He was 4th time, and now he's dropped to a reserve seat as well, so, but glad he is racing as well. And James, we got a brand new face to the league, signed up mid-season, and he's now a PSF1 reserve.
Indeed it is, the AlphaTauri man of Francesco Largo. Looking forward to how he gets on, to be honest, out on track tonight. The AlphaTauri there, down in 15th position. There are still lap times coming in. I think Tom just recently improved there, up into 10th position. Francesco Largo, though, brilliant to see him on board. I've actually commentated on an EML before for Juventus Racing, so looking forward to seeing how he can actually try and transform that team form into an individual race, of course, like this. He's ahead, though, of Kian. 3/10 clear of Kian, 41.1, not the greatest lap there at all from Kian. Of course, he won in Japan earlier on in the season, 2 rounds ago, I think it is now. Kazisel there down on 18th, he's not setting a valid lap time so far. Jeroen and Joe Van Bussel are doing exactly the same thing. Jeroen actually out of sync compared to everyone else out on track, but early on, as the land lies, I'm Gabriel out on top, Wiener there in second, Marcadors then third. And I'll be honest, Jess, OP, I think, are going to be very happy by having three of their drivers in the top 5 right now.
Yes, with the likes of Wiener, Marcadors and Stefano as well. Stefano, I felt like, has come to his own. This season has improved a lot since he started in PSF1, and he felt like he got a decent result when we asked him with the driver thoughts that me and James usually do every week as well. But he felt like he could have had a different strategy at times as well, but it didn't work with him, unfortunately. But he feels confident about his pace this evening, which is really great to see. And we did ask him on whether he wants a dry or a wet race. He's fast in both conditions, so he doesn't care, which is fair enough. But I think a lot of other people would want it dry currently as well. And his main goals for the remainder of the season: finish the next few races in a good position and secure his seat for next season. I think that's what most people near the bottom are going to potentially be doing. It's not about the championship for them, it's about, right, you've only got a few more rounds of the season. It's going to be ending at the end of September, as confirmed by Connor himself. If they don't deliver, although Thomas a little bit of a slide going into the bus stop chicane and was mowing the lawn there, but if they don't deliver, they could get demoted to PSF2. And we have seen some really quick drivers in PSF2 that can definitely fill the shoes really well in PSF1. So the ones near the bottom in PSF1 need to step up their game throughout the remainder of this season.
Definitely so. Tom, by the way, I'm not sure what happened there coming into the pit lane. I'm not sure if he clouded the wall on the pit lane entry, or if he actually went into the wall on the pit lane entry. One of the two things happened. He certainly had grass on his tyres, which you alluded to there. But unfortunately, he's there down at the back of the field and completely out of sync now if he's got front wing damage compared to everyone else. He's there in P10. 500's clear of Vardadal. He's 200's behind Mubarak currently at this time. I'm on board with Jeroen, by the way. He's out of sync compared to everyone else out on track. He's now coming to the left-hander of P1. He was saying he hopes to drive as much as possible, and dry is more fun for him. Let's see if he can now back his comments up with a good performance here in qualifying, as the FER man now comes through the left-hander of Campos chicane, and then in towards, the Fania chicane, then into the right-hander of Campos, and then curve pulls through 112.9, nowhere near what we've seen with Sam Gamer and OP Wiener towards the top end of the field. So Jeroen will be very much scraping as Yossi picks up a 5-second penalty for illegal blocking. It's a very much a difficult track to pick up an illegal blocking penalty at, so no doubt there will be a restart, of course, as we go forward. As Jeroen now comes in toward the bus stop chicane in the Alfa Romeo, completely out of sync, as remember, to everyone else out on track. He should be around the 141s, I think, at this lap time, maybe even slower than Nando, I think, at this point. And he is indeed. He goes behind Nando by 900ths of a second. So Jeroen, not too bad at all. 18th position. We've got Kazisel and Joe Van Bussel prepared to prepare up for laps as well. As the next man to come onto a lap, I believe, is the other, is one of the Hassers, and I believe it might be Shazoo Tom. It's not, indeed. It's actually one of the Ferraris.
It's Volakongan. It's Volakongan that's about to start his run as well. And let's briefly touch about Volakongan's championship chance at the moment. He's outside the top 10. He is 12, but anything could happen in this league. And with the consistency this season, not many drivers have shown that consistency. And all it takes for Volakongan, he gets maybe 1 or 2 great results for the next few races. He could be up there. He could still be in the championship fight. So it's not over for Volakongan. He's had quite a few wins last season as well. Looking to secure a win this season is Volakongan as he makes his way up towards Eau Rouge currently. And usually the one who likes to go for the bold strategy, either pitting early for the undercut or staying out for as long as he possibly can. Usually he likes to stay as long as he possibly can sometimes and be like the tyre whisperer like Alexander Albon usually does as well. And remember what Albon did in Monza yesterday? Well, that put him in good stead, and guess what? He finished, I think it was P7, I believe, in that race. If you didn't watch the race, I do apologise. I probably gave you some spoilers there as well, as he makes his way through Brussels and past the X corner. I'm used to calling it No Name, James, so I'm still going to call it No Name.
That's totally fine. Curveball Freya is another one, of course, that has got a different name in Stavolo, which is actually the old given name around this track as well. Fania Chicane is just something that I think, made up coming through this part of the chicane. It is a well-known chicane, though. Pretty much Anthony, the Fania Chicane, of course, pretty much like Monaco, I believe. 112.6, though, from Volakongan in that middle sector. Other drivers now on second laps as well. Sam Gamer's coming through the middle sector down and towards Puon. But Volakongan there, currently in 12th position, looking to try and better his time of a 140.793. Now, look at how many times we're on a 140.7 as a bike goes past my house for some reason. Sorry if you heard that, as Volakongan comes into the final couple of corners, slides actually coming through the bus stop chicane, and Volakongan I don't think is actually going to improve on this lap. No, lost the time coming out of the bus stop chicane to stay 12th.
And we got Kian, that improves to P1. This is more like the Kian that we know and love, like we saw in Japan as well. So great for him. As I think we can see one of the Red Bulls coming across the line as well to start his run, and that is Max, but he didn't improve either. He stays in 8th position. Next across the line will be one of the Aston Martins. Nope, it's not. It's more Borak, and he goes into the pits. But let's watch his teammate Nando. Only in 17th currently. I've got to admit he is struggling a bit around this track, but let's see if he can prove us wrong. No, he stays in the 141s, which is a bit of a shame for Nando, but you never know, he can prove us wrong, and maybe could be doing a little bit of sandbagging currently as well. Tom has invalidated his run, so he's not able to improve. Yossi goes in at the pit lane. Let's see what Stefano could do. We got the AlphaTauri, I believe, of Francesco right behind him as well. So here comes Stefano, one of the most improved drivers of the season. Could it be on course to get his first win in PSF1? We'll have to wait and see. Up to line he goes. 140.9. It puts him into P10, which I have to say, pretty solid. Only 4 tenths slower than Kian in P1.
Yeah, Markador's just jumping up to P3 there as well on the Mercedes, so actually splitting the Williams pair there for 2nd and 4th. Keaton, though, out on top. Sam Gamer 2nd. Markador's in 3rd. Lelabel apparently saying in the chat that Nando has had absolutely no practice. Dirk saying Nando's had no practice. He said that in his notes himself. And Lelabel saying Keaton's been feeling under the weather and he hasn't practiced either. Well, I'll put it this way. If you don't practice and you get a 140.2, there's either A, a little bit of sandbagging going on, or B, you are just very talented. And I think it's the latter rather than the former in terms of Kian. Fantastic job from him. If he has been unwell, great job to put on pole position for now. Of course, there's still around 7 minutes to go, I think, in the session. The yellow flag's just overhanging the clock at this moment in time. But Kian out on top, Sam Gamer 2nd, Markador's in 3rd. And we will really get to see now who is going to try and excel on their final runs. There's nobody currently out there that is on a lap. But just look at the 140.6s and the 140.7. We've got a rallying all the way to Volakongan. That's what, 11 drivers I make that out as, covered by pretty much a hair's breadth of about 2 tenths per second. Mad things going on here in Belgium.
And that's what it takes for the drivers to become good in PSF1. They practice to get quicker and quicker. And some drivers even have their own sessions as well. They help each other, a lot of them, because it is the PS at the end of the day. They may not be wanting to go to esports straight away, but if they want to get into esports, they'll be looking to move to PC anytime soon. So maybe the last few seasons of them on PS is just them about having fun and racing with their friends, as Jay Van Bussel goes into the pit lane, and I think Markados is going to do exactly the same thing. Now, we are headed towards the end of qualifying. It's time for your predictions in the chat. Who do you think is going to be pole position for today's Belgium Grand Prix? You can let us know by going in the chat. We can have a look at it, of course, as well. I'm trying to remember who got pole last time in PSF1. It might have been actually the same driver that actually won. It might have been Rowan.
Markados.
Oh, it was Markados that got pole last time in Belgium. Okay, and I can't remember where he finished, actually. I think I was debating on, this could be his first win in PSF1, but it never happened, and I was jinxing him and all that. And yeah, but now he's had loads of wins to his name now, and he's definitely settling in to this tier as well. Alex G saying Marlon for pole position. Stefano saying go your own. Luca Ratta says, I think Wiener's got it today. We don't have to say, James, in 4th place. I was not expecting him to be up there, considering he's only reserve. A really big surprise, but a good one.
Yeah, very good one. He's really excelled himself, I think, when it comes to F1 23. He's done a fantastic job in other team events that outplayed racing, so there's no surprise to see him up there in 4th position. I'm going to throw another name into the ring, though. The man sitting in 2nd position. You know how special he's been so far this season, Sam Gamer. He's one of the first to go on for a lap. I think he's going to be 3rd to set up a lap, if I'm not mistaken. But I think with only a very limited improvement to find, if Kian messes up his final lap and Sam Gamer's right there, he only needs to find 700th of a second and then he's on pole position. So I think personally, Sam Gamer for pole position, and if anybody wants to come at me in the comment section and say that's not going to be correct by the end, I'll pay you. But I will not pay you because it is, I'll pay you with a GT Omega product. How about that?
Yes, nice segue, James. You can get 5% off all GT Mega products by using the code PSGL at checkout. You can use the link in the description, or you can go on to the command and type !GT Omega. We're seeing in these lovely chairs. We are sponsored by them. We have so for a few seasons now, so make sure you check those products out. Absolutely amazing, and you're probably going to get used to a lot of plugs later on in the session, as something has just happened, James, and what is it?
Mubarak is invalidated coming out of turn number 1. So, unfortunately, he was the first man to set up on a lap. Volokongan's clean through turn 1 safely at La Source. Mubarak ran wide coming out of turn number 1. So unfortunate. Other drivers picking up a 5-second penalty. Ignore that whatsoever. Ignore also that coming through the Discord notification that we got coming through. Somebody joined our voice box. Kian though out on top. Sam Gamer in 2nd. Marcadors in 3rd. These 5-second illegal blocking penalties. There will be a restart, of course, at the end, as Mubarak invalid, but Volokongan 600 up through the 1st sector and flying.
Yeah, Volokongan is flying. He's currently sitting in P15 at the moment. He's got to nail that middle sector, the technical part of the circuit, to really stand a chance of getting on to near the front of the field. The time at the moment to beat is a 1:40.2. The checker flag has fallen so far, and Volokongan will be the first one to have a valid lap, who will be crossing the line first. He's past Campus, heading towards 001 and 2, and then going towards Launch 1, which are going to be one of the fastest corners of the track. Very fast left-hander, lot of courage through here. Take it flat, minimal lifting, staying as close to the inside as you possibly can. And we have seen crashes around it, but we've seen people have side-by-side action through here as well. As we can see more people set some good lap times, as Jerry Van Bussel can't improve. He is in P8. Mubarak only in 13th. But let's see what Volokongan could do. He goes up to the line. 1:40.6 and P10 it is for him. And James, I'll let you carry on the rest of qualifying.
Sam Gamer coming through the final couple of corners is 600s up, so he's doing enough to get pole position at this stage. Will the Canadian do it on the run toward the line? No, he can't. He loses time through the bus stop chicane. It's only 1500s off, and in the end, I'm going to be made to look like an absolute ghost in the chat. Kian out on top, but he invalidated as well. Marcadors is up 112.3, 6,000's down in that middle sector, but overall he's up in terms of his time. Wiener not improving, Rydal not improving, many invalidations coming in as well. We see Bradders there going 3rd position as well. Stefano on the run to the line as well in the Mercedes. He's coming in toward the bus stop chicane, but Marcadors now the one to watch. He's there in 4th position. Is he going to try and better Kian? Needs to find a 10th and a half from an absolute miracle. Comes toward the line, does Marcadors. Last week's pole sitter doesn't improve in the end. He does improve, 1800ths of a second. Doesn't improve his position. Max on the run toward the line as well. He's 27 seconds down. He's got absolutely no chance. He's invalidated his lap early on as well. But it's Kian out on top. Sam Gamer in 2nd. Brad is there in 3rd. And Kian hangs on. Even though he didn't improve on his lap time, he hangs on. And put it this way, if he's got an illness and he's been suffering from flu or COVID or anything like that, fair play to getting pole position here tonight in the most difficult of circumstances.
Well, to be fair, there was one race where I was going to race, but unfortunately I had COVID and I was like, no, I'm not going to race here today. But Kian is just showing that you can potentially race with an illness and do it well. So fair play to Kian, by the way. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does in the main race as well. He's had 2 wins in F6, 2 wins in F4, no wins in F1 for the last few seasons, but he's got some wins here this season and is looking to get another victory here today. He got one in Japan, of course. But let's run through your order then. Is Kian on top with Sam Gamer in 2nd, Bradders in 3rd, Marcadors 4th, Wiener 5th, Ryderdale 6th, Marlon in 7th, Aurelian in 8th, Jay Van Bussel in 9th, Ryan in 10th. Then we got Volaconga, Stefano, Tom, Max, Moborat, Nando, Cazillo, Francesco, Jerome and Yossi round up your grid. Yossi didn't even set a valid lap time. He got disqualified. But before we head to the main action, we will be having a lobby restart. But let's have a quick word from our title sponsor, GTMX. There we go. So many things have gone wrong again today. As you were saying.
As we were saying, yeah, Kian, I was saying there, of course, showed the form in Japan, took pole position, fantastic stuff. He apparently took pole position after being spent 4 days in bed, so he must have COVID or something like that in terms of his illness for him to be warranted 4 days in bed. And I couldn't think of having 4 days in bed, to be honest, because I'm the most active person out there that's ever probably lived. But Kian really showing, I think, how it can and will be done, and indeed how he can really thrive. Of course, he's got Sam Gamer and Bradders in behind him. Sam Gamer, we know quite a lot about. He's already won this season. Bradders has done the same. He's had 2 wins this season as well. So we've actually got the majority of the race winners this season. Plus Marco's there in P4. He's also a race winner this season. All race winners pretty much this season within the top 4. That is now setting the tone for what is to come in Belgium.
Yes, I think we've had multiple race winners, which shows that, to be honest, it's been a close grid. It's been a lot more competitive than the last few seasons, not gonna lie. It's got to a point where we actually don't know who's gonna win the championship. The last few seasons we were like, oh, this person's gonna win the championship hands down, and blah, 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 like the likes of Max, even though it got taken to the final round, but due to foreseen circumstances, it pretty much got crowned in lap 1. Which was quite interesting, to say the least. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but I could safely say this is going to be going all the way down to the finale in, well, we don't know what track it's going to be, actually, still, which is going to be very exciting. Still yet to be announced. The final few races on the calendar is going to be ending at the end of September, of course, as well. I think same as the PCF1 guys, they're going to be ending the end of September as well. It's time to get your thoughts in chat. You said your thoughts for pole position. Now it's time to get your thoughts on who you think is going to be winning this race. I'm going to put my thoughts on Markados going to be winning this race. I think he has the right pace to actually get past likes of Kian and stuff like that. But other drivers and other people in the chat may beg to differ. James, what do you think?
I was going to say Markados as well, to be honest, before you actually stole the pick of me. And yeah, I honestly think I'll agree with you. Markados, I think, probably better in terms of race pace going forward. See how he progresses, of course, going forward as well. Of course, we have got that restart. We're just waiting for the new lobby, I think, to be set up right now. Kian out on top, of course, from Sam Game in second. Bradders there in third. I think it's going to be Markados, Bradders. And then for a real rogue one, come at me in the comment section for this. Aurelian. There in P8, the Frenchman delivered, of course, last week on the podium in Imola. His form has been coming very much so towards the end. Sam Gamer, Kian saying, has got no top speed, which will be my concern, I think, in terms of his top speed and in terms of his setup. And Aurelian there, he's had the real naff, I think, and the real knack to really put in the performances this season. Of course, he's an F1 Pro Exhibition driver in the past as well, so he's got that experience. He knows how to really get tough with these guys, and Aurelian, I think, might be on the podium as well tonight.
Yeah, that is not a bad shout, believe it or not, as well. And I'm sure other people may beg to differ on that one as well, as Yamil Marcados saying Marcados there. Well, I'm not really that surprised, to be honest. Alex the G saying, where's my GT Omega product, James?
5% off.
Yeah, 5% off. There you go, lovely chairs. We can actually point at them now because we're actually live on broadcast. There we go. So make sure you do check that out. You can check the link in the description or use the command !GT Omega as well. But there has been some other drivers apart from Kian in real life that have potentially raced when they are like Lance Stroll in Bahrain. Remember when he had a broken wrist? He still managed to get some decent points out of it as well. Albon as well with appendicitis. There's been some drivers that have been at the top of their game, but still haven't been at the best illness-wise. So it shows that anyone could obviously do it as well. We are just waiting for the last few drivers to rejoin the session, and we can get on the way very, very shortly. And yeah, Marlon was P7 in the qualifying. Marlon, a lot better this season in terms of last season, but there's just certain races where he's just been so unlucky once again. Maybe Belgium can be the race where he finds a bit of form, and Belgium is usually the race where sometimes there could be a bit of chaos and Marlon could make his way up through the order.
Yeah, definitely so. We are going to be doing a fresh lobby, by the way. It is taking a little bit longer than expected for people. Apparently, Yossi as well. Just to bring this up before I answer your question, Yossi apparently got disqualified in qualifying, and we didn't see this. It didn't come up on our end, but apparently he got disqualified for many illegal blocking penalties. Now, I think he picked up at least 2, but maybe more than that for Yossi. So potentially, there's all that confusion. Is he going to start at the back of the grid? Is he going to start, of course, where he qualified? It remains to be seen. Of course, Yossi was right down the back of the field, and that's why you referenced in Jess with the disqualification. That's why he got disqualified in qualifying, because he had too many illegal blocking penalties, which is the first that I've heard of on this game, to be honest, for F1 23. But yeah, totally coming back to your point. What was the question again?
I forgot why I asked, to be honest. I'm doing a certain thing called multitasking at the moment.
It's totally fine. It is totally fine. Alex the G saying in the chat, if commentators do a com curse on drivers, can the drivers do a driver curse on the com too? I really hope that. I really hope people come and tune into our league races and they can leave some very much curses on us in terms of our driving.
Please don't.
Please do for me. I need it. I'm like P4 in the championship right now. I really do need the curses to come my way. Because
I've got Spain tomorrow, and I hate it.
You've got Spain tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, you've got Spain tomorrow. I had Miller at the weekend. Luckily, it's a break week for League of Europe this week, so it's not too bad.
Other leagues are available. #PSGL.
Yes, on Saturday League is what I'll go with. Saturday League. It's like the non-league equivalent of Formula 1 racing, I think, on a Saturday night. But yeah, back to some of the racing as well. Skyline asking what was pole position, a 40.2 was pole position. And indeed, in terms of qualifying, Kian set that. Only 1500s clear of Sam Gamer. Bradders there was 300s down on the back of Sam Gamer as well. So the top 3 were covered by 500ths of a second. So it was so close in qualifying, even so close further down the field, because I spied Ryan and Volakongan set the same lap time in qualifying as well for 10th and 11th.
I did not see that as well. I was just so concentrated on Kian getting pole position amazingly that I didn't see the same lap times there as well. When was the last time we saw that but for pole position? 1997 in real life. But we are trying to get some PSGL stats in there as well. So I'm going to be doing some research as to which races in PSF1 have had poles set by exactly the same lap time or something like that. Any ties or whatever. That would be quite cool as well. I'm going to be literally getting stats galore for the next few weeks just to be sure I'm ready for next season. You're not ready for the stats, Matt, Lady Jess, let's just say as well. Luckily, everyone's in the lobby, so we will be getting underway shortly. Apologies about the slight delay. Again, we've had the illegal blocking situation, which hasn't been fixed. So we had to restart the lobby. I think the last few races we've had lobby restarts in every Grand Prix in PSF1. So really, I'm not that surprised, but let's hope it's fixed once again. And Alex the G saying, "You bet you're getting cursed." No, we're not. We're not at the end of the day. We are not. So yeah. Let's talk about strategies, James, as well in terms of tyres. I think it's going to be a dry race as well. Will we see any safety cars? I think we will.
I think we will, and I think we will maybe beyond Radion and a Rouge. I think we're going to get maybe a bit of a collision there, maybe a little bit of damage. Luckily, we don't have long to find out because the drivers are now readying up, luckily, within the lobby. But yeah, in terms of the strategies, pit lane loss around this track around about 19 seconds overall. Sometimes it is 20 if you do get held in the pit lane for about a second or so. But strategies, PCF1 race, of course, on Wednesday. If you didn't tune in, George Morgan, Jack Canan did a fantastic job there. Mediums to hards and softs to hards are the two strategies potentially to go for. Mediums to hards, probably the likely strategy. Alfie Butcher, who won, of course, in PCF1. Again, sorry if I've ruined anybody's night in terms of who won in PCF1. He, of course, pit at the end of lap 7. So that is how early we see drivers pit in from a set of mediums to a set of hards, and they can gain that powerful undercut, which, of course, is potent around any track. The mediums have a tyre wear rate of around 5 or 6%. So this is not going to be a major concern as they go further into the race as well. So that means drivers, like in F2, can go a little bit further. And like Erpek, of course, can go into a set of softs by doing 14, 15 laps on that tyre.
Yeah, and I have to say, fair play to people that are doing that. They're probably going to be like the Albon tyre whisperer, not going to lie as well. So yes, every possible strategy you can think of, we will see, apart from potential wet weather as well. And I think when we were asking the drivers about their thoughts around Belgium, they probably wanted it to be dry 100%, including our debutant on Francesco, who wanted dry 100% as well. Marlon doesn't really care. Jensen says dry 100% as well. Borat, though, is going for something different. He wants a wet race. Well, we're not going to get that at the moment. It's quite overcast currently. But you never know with PSF1. Anything can happen, of course. Don't forget, James, the drivers have to remember they've got to pick their setup, because we have seen in the past people that pick default setups by accident, they tend to struggle around it.
They do indeed, and it has been confirmed, by the way, in chat that we're getting going at 20:40, so in about 2 minutes' time, less than 2 minutes until the race starts here for PSGL PSF1. Plenty of Kermit emojis there going on in the chat as well for Discord. I've asked what the weather is for the race. It is very overcast, I've got to say, but Mark had also just confirmed to me it's a dry race for everyone, which means everyone can have their setups on, everyone's going to be on an even playing field, and it's going to be very good to see in terms of the racing out on track as well. But in terms of the actual racing, it should be fascinating. Of course, you've got Keane out on top, Sam Game in second, Brad is in third, Marco in fourth. Them four have pretty much taken the majority, if not all, of the F1 wins so far this season. Apart from Ryan, who's there down in, P10.
Yeah.
Everyone, pretty much in the top 4, have won a race this season in PSF1. If that does not whet your appetite going forward here tonight in Belgium, I don't know what will.
And based on the drivers that haven't won a race at all, who do you think could be like a possible maiden victory?
Aurelian. I'm really tempted to say Aurelian. He's down in that P8. He's behind Marlon, who showed very good qualifying skills as well to qualify just ahead of him. Radadol in there as well. But yeah, Aurelian, I think P8, certainly the one to watch out for. Of course, on the podium last week, of course, in Imola, Jess finished P2. And I think the PSR man has got more to show than what he's actually shown so far this season, because he is a very capable driver on his day.
And I wonder if any of you in the chat will think so. Or do you think we'll get another maiden winner if we do get any? Alex the G saying Marlon, not biased. Well, I can see why, because Alex, you're in the same team as Marlon. Dirk saying he thinks Keane is unbeatable around here, but he hopes an OP driver wins. So, that is quite interesting as well. Yeah, I have seen many races that Keane has won around Belgium in other leagues, but that doesn't mean he could win again, as we are about to get underway. The 5 red lights are on. And we are go, go, go here in Belgium. Belgium. Kian gets a good start. They make it towards last source. So does the Alpine, but Sam Gamer trying to go around the outside and towards turn 1. Can he make it stick? I don't know. They all make it clean so far. One driver going off the circuit, but Sam Gamer leads. Heading towards Rouge and Radion as well. Ryderdal's got a good start. Rena's dropped down into 6th place. Not what he wants, but Kian tries to fight back on the inside of the Keble Straight. But look at Margados. He's fighting back as well. He's going to be 4-5 wide. Heading towards Lecom then. It's going to be very, very tricky indeed. Sam Gamer just beholds the lead. Margados had a bit of a squirm. Heading towards the exit of that as well. Bradders almost lost a few positions there, but the top 2, James, are running away with it.
They are, and there's contact in the wall. Your own hard into the wall. Coming out of Malmedy, that's going to be a VSC at least deployed. It is indeed. It's a VSC deployed out on track. Saw that in the background, just went spearing off on the outside curb. No contact, I don't think, involved in that. Sam Gamer and Kian, though, yeah, pulled away. VSC now brings that to an end. But I tell you what, Bradders, Marcados and Ryderdal, you must have some cojones to try and go 3 wide in towards Lecom. It was fantastic stuff. Of course, Bradders on that set of hards. Marcados on the set of mediums. Ryderdal was the one trying to get the move, and he was on the set of softs. And Marcados, I was on board with him coming out of Rouge and Radion. And at the top of the hill, he just had this absolute, like, he got shot out of a cannon to try and come at Bradders. He made a tiny bit of contact, which really dimmed the momentum that he had. But Marcados there in 4th, Ryderdal in 5th, we remain pretty much as we are. But goodness me, what a start that was. We're still in the VSE.
Yes, it was probably one of the most chaos Belgium starts I've seen in quite a while, actually, but in a good way. But let's look at position changes, actually, as well off the start. Jay Van Bussel's gained the most, up 3 places. Same with Morboak as well. Ryan overtaking under VSC almost, which is not allowed, but the VSC has ended so far, which means we get to see the tyres. Quite a few people on the soft compound of tyres. Jay Van Bussel, one of them is Ryderdal, trying to go down the inside into La Source of Wiener, which he does so with ease currently as we head towards lap 2 of 22. This is the second attempt then. Let's see if they can make their way unscathed. It is a dry race. Interestingly, that both Jerry and Ryderdal have gone for the soft tyres. Same with Morboak as well. Morboak, I'm not surprised. He did that last week when we were at Imola, as Sam Gamer tried to cover off Kian, heading towards Lecom once again, but this time Sam Gamer holds on to that race lead as well. Van Bussel was looking very racy as they head towards Brussels. It's quite understeery, quite a few off-camber corners around this circuit, and again a few changes to the elevation as well in terms of the curves as well. Morboak does get past Wolakonga, by the way. James, he's up to 10th.
Yeah, that was filthy from Mubarak around the outside, coming through Malmedy and into Bruxelles. Brilliant stuff from Mubarak. He's running into P10. And look at how good those set of soft compound tyres are early on. He's right on the back of Marlon already, down in towards the final chicane. Rides the curb nicely, might pick up a 3-second penalty if he's not careful, if he rides that a bit too much. But Sam Gamer already pulling away by a second out in front. Kian there in second, just can't live with him, and that's because Sam's on that set of mediums, Kian on that set of hards, and Sam Gamer trying the Alfie Butcher tactic and trying to escape away as Jerry Van Bussel right on the back of Bradders. Now outside of DRS on Kian, as Jerry Van Bussel looks the outside line. He might have to go all the way around the outside into the bus stop, but I think he's going to play tactically for that DRS, of course, on the run. Oh, as that Bradders locks up, rear locks in towards the bus stop chicane. Jerry Van Bussel now alongside and surely going to get the move done. He's now pulled pretty much half a car length ahead, now full car length ahead, and Van Bussel hustles and he's thrown into P3.
That was absolutely beautiful from Jerry Van Bussel, up into the podium position for now, but he's got to use that advantage that he's got at this point before the crossover point to close in on the Kian and Sam. Otherwise, he's going to be in huge trouble currently as well, and I'm sure Ryderdal will be looking at the same position as well. DRS is activated, so we can start to see really great moves being made from some of the drivers. Let's see what Marcados could do on the back of Bradders. Oh, Bradders closed the door on Marcados there as well. Same with Marcados on Ryderdal currently. No one is making any huge gains currently as well. They're all in that big DRS chain, and it'll be interesting to see how much ERS they burn just by being stuck around this train. As we can see, Stefano right on the back of Wolakonga. Stefano is also struggling for straight line speed as well, as he's only in 13th spot. I think there's a few other drivers not doing very well either. By the way, Yossi is up into 16th place after starting last, so he's doing a great job there. Don't forget, time penalties and grid penalties were removed. That's why obviously we restarted the lobby as well. Interestingly, the when Sam goes onto the hard tyres and when Keane goes onto the mediums, I wonder if Sam's going to have the problem that he will have later on in the race, where his lack of straight line speed may cost him.
Yeah, lack of straight line speed might cost him, but if he can get the gap out, so I would say, 1.5, maybe even 2 seconds at a push, he should be right there. If Keane sticks with him, though, I don't think Sam Gamer's got a chance, personally, later on in the race, because that set of medium compound tyres are going to come so much online. But it all depends on when Keane decides to pull the trigger and pull into the pit lane. He might choose to go same lap time as Sam Gamer. What I think might happen, though, is Sam Gamer puts in early, tries to get the undercut. Oh, a bit of a real look there for Markadors, who, by the way, reached 217 mile an hour down the straight the last time we came around. There's also moved further down the field the PSR pair of Max and Yossi, swapping positions as well. So the Red Bull through on the Alpine through, and he's in 15th position. But here comes Markadors on the back of Bradders. He has got the straight line speed, whether or not he's got the guts to go down the inside is another thing. As we see now, 2 wide potentially in the background. Everyone just filtering in very nicely. Aurelian on the back of Wiener, Mubarak there on the set of soft compound tyres on the back of Aurelian as well. Nothing really happening apart from Max and Tom getting the elbows out, getting into a bit of contact, and Max in the wall. Max in the wall, Tom came in across him, and it's a safety car deployed out on track. It's such a shame. That contact could have easily been avoided. There were 300ths of a second coming through the Lake Om, and unfortunate for them, Tom gets caught up in contact. He avoids getting front wing damage. Max, though, out of the race. Contact model pretty much letting them down there.
Yeah, unfortunately I did not see that because there was lots of action going on elsewhere, but a huge shame for Max. He was hoping he was going to do well, and his title defence really of a season is not going the way that he would have hoped. It may be that the game is not best suited to him compared to obviously the other drivers, and obviously it has a bit more responsiveness to the handling model, and maybe Max likes a bit more of an understeer type nature as well. But again, there's still a few more races to go of this season, and we got next season as well, so maybe the second season will help him a little bit. Now, ones on the hard compounded tyres, they could be on an interesting strategy. Same with the ones on the softs. Most of these guys will have 2 sets of mediums left to use, so if I were them, I would box, go on to a set of the mediums, and then go on another set of mediums again until the end. Sam, though, on those set of mediums, it's like, you know what, I'm going to come in and try and get those hards to the end, or is he going to do a double medium stick? We'll have to wait and see. I don't have a clue what tyre he's going to go on for, but he comes into the pits now. Sam Gamer is on hard compounded tyres then. So is Jay Van Bussel, so is Markados, I think. Yes, it is. What does Ryan go on to? He goes on to a fresh set of mediums. Francesco goes on to the mediums. So basically, James, if you're not on the mediums, they're going on to mediums. If they're not on hards and they start, well, basically, if they started on mediums, they're going on to hards. That is basically what we're seeing from all the drivers, apart from Tom and Wiener. Those are the only 2 drivers, James, that stayed out.
It is, and my concern would be, I think, at this point, we've got pretty much 15 laps worth of racing left potentially till the checkered flag. Now, in our notes that we put down, hard compounded tyres have a lifespan of 16 laps. That is beyond the lifespan potentially of what these drivers are capable of doing. So we could see the P word come out later on in the race, and that is punctures towards the end. And I would not be surprised if that is the case. But Wiener and Tom, I think, have done the smart thing. They have stayed out. I would have stayed out personally if I was in their shoes right now out on track, because it's too early into the race for you to change onto a particular compounded tyre. Anyone on a set of medium compounded tyres is going to have to come into the end of the race, whether or not, because at 14 laps lifespan, they go off about halfway through that lifespan. So what, 7-8 laps? They'll be shot by the time the 7 or 8 laps are gone. So anybody in a set of mediums pretty much are done for. Anybody on a set of hards, I would argue later on in the race, are done for as well. Wiener and Tom, I think, have been very smart here. They've stayed out. They were going to get double stacked anyways with Ryan and with Sam Gamer, of course, coming in the pit lane ahead. But Wiener and Tom have done the smart thing, and I think they've done this purely based on 2 things. One, because they want to try and drive out those tyres as long as possible, and then put into a set of softs. And 2, they're predicting another safety car, which I think, around this track, is very likely indeed.
We've seen it in other tiers as well. I think we saw that with PCF too. There was quite a few safety cars as well. So I think if Wiener and Tom are going off by that, and maybe what happened in PCF1 as well, then I can understand why they're staying out as well. And I think we've seen with some tracks, mediums getting by very well by doing a two-stop, but the Belgium, obviously, like you were saying, hards could last a long time around this track. So I think this could be a bit of an issue. So it's going to be about the tyre delta, the setup as well, the pace of the drivers, and the tyre management. If they can get those all correct throughout the race, the ones on the halves are going to be golden. So watch out for the likes of Sam Gamer and Jane Van Bossel. Sam Gamer effectively is your net race leader with Kian and net P2. But with Rena and Tom, they're going to pray to the safety car gods that we would get another one. But for us, let's hope we get no safety cars because we don't want to see any more retirements. Thank you very much, because otherwise the stewards are going to be very busy. Meanwhile, Francesco and Yossi coming to the pits once again. Francesco on 2, a Seb Hard. Same for Yossi as well, I think. They left it a bit late, but at least they've got nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, definitely so. And of course, they've actually completed that mandatory two-stop that people... that we do have, of course, in Formula 1, where you can transition from a set of hards, which they started on, both of them, onto a set of mediums, and then back onto a set of hards. Now, I think that's going to suit them very well. That's going to be a lap pressure tyres towards the end. That's going to be about 5 or 6% tyre wear better off towards the end as well. So Yossi and Francesco have been quite smart. We are going to get the safety car in this lap as well. But it depends on how good the ground can be made from further down. They're in 18th and 19th position, and you're probably thinking they're not going to make much ground at all. And you're right to think that, because I don't think they're going to make much ground at all. It all depends, though, if we get another safety car. If we get another safety car, and then drivers on a set of mediums decide to box in for a set of hards and then go on to the end of the race, if they've got that fresh compounded tyre, that is going to be perfect for Yossi and Francesco, because that'll be 3 positions that they're picking up. If they're on that sort of... if the safety car doesn't come in, the safety car doesn't come out, and then we get racing all the way to the checkered flag from this point onwards, they have got a hell of a lot of ground to make up. But their race is pretty much in the final 3 laps or so, where they're going to be quicker than everyone else.
Yeah, I think so as well, and I'm sure other people in the chat may agree with that as well. What would you do if you were racing as well? Let us know in the chat as well. It will be interesting to see how you would approach it if you were racing as well. Of course, we do have a few more rounds of the season still to go. We've got Jeddah next week, and we've got Mexico the following week as well. Safety car, by the way, is in this lap. So let's watch Wiener then, as he's going to be controlling the safety car restart for the very first time. He hasn't raced against these drivers for a while, so it's going to be, I think, in a much difficult situation for him because he's not used to it. But if he nails it, it's really going to help him for the rest of the race as he heads towards past Blanchimont, heading towards the bus stop chicane where it requires good traction, heavy braking. You have to brake late as well, and that's why you got to pretty much get your restart to a T. You don't want to go now because otherwise you're going to be giving your drivers a tow. You're going to leave it at the latest opportunity currently, and that's what Rena's going to be doing. Is he going to go? Is he going to go? He is going. He's go, go, go. That is perfect from Wiener. Everyone else was caught off guard there as Tom, under pressure from Wiener's teammate of the night, Sam Gamer, through into last source as well, almost being pushed off the circuit. But Sam Gamer down into third, but he's going to try and get P2 as well. We've got Jay Van Boss, who wants a piece of the pudding as well, in towards our road. You don't want to be going side by side through there, but we see some very brave moves in the past. Most people are going to try and get the move, heading towards the Kemmel Straight. Wiener, 8/10 of a gap between himself and Tom. That is just what he needed. But wow, this is great. Oh, almost a bit of contact from Sam Gamer and Tom. Luckily, they keep it on the road. That was so close. That could have been disaster, and that could have been another safety car. Tom was praying for one, and he's going to hope that he doesn't cause one. Kian trying to go around the outside into X corner. He's not getting past Tom. Tom is pretty much being an outbound in terms of strategy into the inside of Puon. Can Kian make it stick? Oh, yes he can.
Just about, and Radian's trying to do the same move, but on the opposite side, around the outside through Puon as well. Now into the Fania chicane. There's Brothers up the inside of Tom, trying to get the elbows out. The Alpine and the Haskell side by side coming in towards Campos, and Tom is now behind on Brothers. Brothers, to be fair, forced off track there, Tom, slightly, and in the end, Max has rejoined the session. Not sure what happened to Max. He's, of course, out of the race. He's just going to be watching on, I think, maybe engineering for one of the PSR drivers. But Jerry
Yeah.
Van Bossel now trying to go all the way around the outside and towards Blanchimont. You do not see an overtake over here too often, but Tom catches on the inside curb, gains a bit of speed, and now Joe Van Bossel's going to have to brake very late on the brakes to try and get this one done. The Ferrari and the Haas now side by side as they come now through the final corner, and Tom's tyres just cannot cope with the guys in front. Joe Van Bossel now ahead, and he's feeling he's into P5 as Marquez now is going to try and send one down the inside line, or nearly like Grosjean contact in 2012, but Marquez through, and he's into P6. Great racing, elbows are out in Belgium. This is brilliant.
I have to say, this is similar to what we're seeing in Imola. Absolutely sensational racing, leaving as much space as they possibly can as well. Different strategies. We like the different strategies in play. But Kian gets past Sam Gamer. That was a crucial move that he was looking for on the fresher tyres. And we did say, James, that if Sam was on the harder tyre compared to Kian, he would struggle in terms of straight line speed. Well, proof is in the pudding right there. Kian has got past him, and he's in the lead of this race, well, the net race lead. Currently at the moment, Wiener doing a great job as Aurelian gets past Tom. Tom, I think, struggling on those hard compounded tyres. And look at Marlon through its corner. He gets past Tom, and that was sensational from him as well. He's having a good race so far. These medium runners need to get a move on ASAP because he's got Tom, who's pretty much trying to defend for his life. We got the likes of obviously Sam Gamer, Jay Van Bussel, and Marcus on the Seb Haas. You got to get past them, otherwise you're done. Because Idle, though, doing what I said he would do, gets past one of the high runners and up to 12.
He does indeed, and he's got Volakongan right in front of him as well, and maybe Ronadell and Tom to boot with as well. 2 on a set of hards, 1 on a set of mediums ahead of him, because this will doing a fantastic job. But here comes Tian, by the way, for the race lead on the back of Wiener. Getting a phenomenal run coming out of Blanchimont. I don't think he's going to go for the move. He's just going to send right in behind for now. But Tian is right there or thereabouts, as there's contact nearly between Tom and I think that's Rodadell coming into the bus stop. Chicane. Rodadell getting the job done. Tom's tyres, he's sinking like a ship in the sea right now. In Tom's perspective, the Haas is just not going anywhere. The tyres are not working. Mubarak's now going to try and thread the eye of the needle through the middle of them both. Tom runs wide through turn 1, 2 positions gain, and Mubarak is going to get a phenomenal exit on the back of Kazizel. And if he pulls this off, this might be overtake of the season. Mubarak side by side with Kazizel, up through a Rouge, up through Radion, doesn't pull it off, but Mubarak had the guts to go for that one. And now Tom and Ryan are back in this fight as well.
Kian's
Mubarak
leading.
now take 2 on the back. Kian now takes the race. The contact between Mubarak and Tom. Tom gets caught on the back of Mubarak. It's happened again between Tom and another driver. It was Max first and foremost. Now Mubarak. Mubarak's going to be fuming. Tom's going to be fuming. Contact model again failed. Both of them with no front wing.
Well, that's why there's some moments where you do not take that much risks, and well, you do not want to be going for a move like that as well. And with Tom being on the older tyres, that was a risk to be taken, and I think he should have pitted. He should have pitted. Wiener, I think, was doing a lot better, and he's still in P4, so Wiener could get those tyres out for a little bit longer as well. We will have to see what the stewards think of it as well, because from my angle, it didn't look clear as to whose fault it was. Maybe both of them could have been at fault in a way as well, but obviously with the stewards, they have a little bit of a better angle, and obviously with the driver's POV as well. But yeah, huge shame as well. Good to see Jensen in the chat, by the way. Jensen is not feeling very well. That's why he's in the chat and not racing. Hope you get better soon, mate, Jensen. Can't wait to see you back next week.
Yeah, definitely. So I think he's got food poisoning, unfortunately. So hopefully everything will be right and rosy next week with Jensen. He can get back on the racing and maybe even show how some of how these drivers can drive as well to boot. And Jensen doing a fantastic job, of course, this season. But regardless, that contact, I was on board with Mubarak for that, and it looked like Tom moved across on him, to be honest, to try and defend the position. Tom was the car in front. The Aston Martin, unfortunately, getting caught up in that contact. But regardless, we've still got action. Marquez and Aurelian now going to go side by side on the back of Wiener. But it doesn't look like Marquez is entitled to go for the move. And now, coming around the outside is Marlon, trying to now thread the other needle. There's contact between the Mercedes and the Williams. Maybe an end plate flying off there as well. And Marlon goes all the way around the outside on Aurelian. Goes all the way around the outside as well on Wiener. And also gets Marquez to boot as well. 3 in the space of a corner for Aurelian. Brilliant stuff. For Marlon. Brilliant stuff for Marlon. The Red Bull 30 is into 5th. And I think that front wing damage that we saw maybe is Wiener. Left side end plate damage, looks a little bit shot. He looks as if he's got damage to me. It's not clear as if it is, but it looks like he's got damage on the left side.
Tyres. It's also the tyres, don't forget, because he hasn't stopped, whereas everyone else has, and maybe with that end plate damage that he might have got, that's also causing him to lose quite a bit of time as well. And we know the crossover point can come a bit earlier than intended, even though it's less laps. It is a long race distance, 7.004 kilometres, this racetrack, and it has 154 kilometres race distance. Fastest lap record, by the way, in the race. Valtteri Bottas, 146.286. Oh, I think we're definitely going to beat that, that's for certain. Oh, no! Contact from Wiener as well. And Wiener has to go into the pit, surely. So I think he's got more damage because of it. The race started off so good. Really great driving standards. But unfortunately, James, the driving standards have seemed to have gone to put now.
Yeah, driving standards are now falling. I don't know like what, but Rodadell was the one to blame. He just locked up on the rear lock in towards the bus stop chicane, caused that contact with Wiener into the pit lane with that damage. The sun is beginning to come out, however, as Nando now finds his way through and he's into 9th position. Nice move that by Nando. He is making his way through the field very nicely. And another one as well that has had a fantastic race so far in this race. Nando, of course, gaining 8 positions from 17th on the grid up to 9th position, threading like a knife through the needle. Brilliant stuff from Nando so far. And he's another one, Jess, that had no practice coming into tonight as well. So we've got currently Kian, who had no practice there in P1, and Nando, who had no practice in P9. These guys are really making a knack of having no practice and doing well.
Well, can you guys give me some tips, please, on how to do well with no practice, please? Because there's certain leagues I don't have time to practice for, and usually when I put no practice in, I do rubbish. So, yeah, if you guys could give me some tips, that'll be absolutely amazing. I still do run assist, by the way. But anyway, we're pretty much approaching half race distance with Kian still leading, Sam Gamer in second. Sam Gamer can realistically get to the end, but with the likes of Kian Bradders, Marlon Aurelian, they could potentially have to go in to the pit lane very soon and maybe go onto a set of softs. Tom or Borak had to be forced to do that. Ideally, they would have wanted to stay on for a bit longer on those sets of tyres they were on, but they were forced onto the softs and maybe going on to the softs till the very end of the race. Lap 12 with 22 now, currently at the moment heading towards last Saucehead as well. Brad is almost getting close to Sam Gamer as well, and I just have to say, while watching these drivers, when do you think, James, these medium tyres will start to go off?
Probably in about 2 laps' time, I think, because Bradders, right on the back of Sam Gamer, has got a lot of good pace right now. He needs to utilise that pace now to get the move done, ideally, on Sam Gamer, which, you know what, I think he might do, because he's absolutely flying now at him, down into the Lake Holm, but he's not going to go for the move, and he's not going to try and eye up the move, but Aurelian does, Marcados does as well, further in behind and camera shot through and he's into 5th, and Marcados going around the outside through Lake Holm. Beautiful move that is for Marcados, through and he's into 6th. Molon just not fighting on those mediums that well. The NLR man now down behind. The OP man might be a sign of things to come tomorrow night as well, but Marcados there 6th. Marlon there in 7th. And the mediums, yeah, I think beginning to go off for some people. Marlon, I think his tyres are going off. Volakongan, I think his tyres are going off. Maybe the same with Ryan. But further up the field, apart from maybe Bradders and Kian, everyone else's mediums are beginning to go off. But the man that I said, and I predicted for podium position here, is into 5th position. Aurelian now beginning to charge. He's got clear air in front of him. Jerovan Bussell ahead's going to help him as well along. And the Frenchman, all of a sudden, getting into this.
Yep, it is. And you know that potentially we could have a maiden race victory. I think this could still happen, you know. We could see someone taking their first ever victory in PSF1, but there could be a sign for things to come. Once they get their first victory in the top tier, then the victories keep on coming and coming. We saw that with Max last season. We saw that with the likes of Volakonga and Tom, ones who won in PSF1 in the past. Ryan, who won last week, it was his first win, but he's not as confident tonight. However, he's not expecting to do well here today, and he's just probably happy trying to fight for these points then as well. We're heading towards Al Rouge once again. Let's see what Bradders could do. I think he's a little bit too further back to get past just yet, but he's going to have the toe from Sam Gamer heading towards Lecom at the moment as Sam Gamer tries to use the curb to full effect, but looks like Bradders, unfortunately, is unable to get past. Morbrak saying the fastest lap of this race so far by quite some margin, actually, already beating the race lap record from Valtteri Bottas. That's even faster than my quali time around Belgium, and that's quite embarrassing, not gonna lie. But yeah, I think it's now safely time to have a look at Sam Gamer's pace now. If Sam Gamer can close in even more, we know those mediums are gonna die.
Yeah, they will. They will. And at the moment as well, if this race be red flagged, and I hope it isn't, Bradders would be now championship leader as a result of him outscoring Markedos. Markedos there down in 7th position. Currently would be picking up, I believe, 4 points. Bradders there would be picking up 10. 6 point swing puts them 2 points through Markedos as it stands out on track. Jerry Van Bussel also gaining as well on the back of Markedos. He's not going to be, though, close enough to the back of Markedos to try and change the outcome of the championship. But remains to be seen what Jerry Van Bussel can do in these final few laps, of course, because, of course, he won here in Belgium in season 32, as well as, really, it's a big slide there. Coming out of the bus stop chicane, he's there in 5th. But now everyone's within DRS. I'm now beginning to rub my hands together and think, oh, yes, I hope we are going to get some really good racing now. But Aurelian just showing why he should not rest on his laurels. He looked up there towards turn 1 and loses all of that time that he's just gained.
Yeah, I think with that lock-up in turn number 1, it's definitely not helped him to gain a bit of time, unfortunately, as well. But look at this. I think we've got the likes of Brad, who's going to try and get down the inside into Lecom. Can he do it this time? And the camera's cut off in all the wrong places, but unfortunately, he's unable to get past. Pretty much the top 4 are running in a league of their own currently as well. And if these 4 keep squabbling, look at this. Aurelian could join the party. Mon as well, but again, they got to get past ASAP before those mediums start to die off currently at this moment in time. And yes, we are seeing a very big train all the way down to P11. Realistically, the top 13, James, could win this race, and I'm not even kidding.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Aurelian there in 5th, however, is becoming the cork in the bottle. Same with Volakongan. Those mediums for Volakongan just beginning to try and lose its wear. Aurelian doing the same as well. And of course, I was concerned about their lifespan. I'm even more concerned now because they're only, 9 or 10 laps into the stint. And we've still got another 8 or 9 laps in this race to go. So it's going to be very, very close indeed in terms of how these guys are going to get. It could be 90% tie where boom or bust is what I'm thinking in terms of the puncture territory here tonight. But Kian there leading the way, controlling the race out in front like he did in Japan, controlling the race. And this is the old Kian that we're seeing. To be fair, it's also the old Sam Gamer and also the old Bradders that we're seeing as well in 2nd and 3rd. And they're really bouncing back from their bad results, of course, last week in Imola. Sam Gamer on the back. He's just trying to threaten maybe the mediums of Kian, maybe just to try and put them under pressure. But Sam Gamer, if I was in his shoes right now, I'd just try and lift and coast wherever possible. Save a bit of ERS and then attack in the final 2 laps where he knows the hards are going to be better than the mediums.
Yeah, realistically, it could get to the end, but bearing in mind there could be some puncher territories as well. And oh, look at that, Sam Gamer almost getting past on the traction then as well. And I think Brad is almost doing exactly the same thing, but on Sam Gamer as well. And interestingly about the different strategies on how well they would think they would get to the end. If the mediums were to stay for a bit longer, they're going to hope for a safety car. The ones on the hards, they'll probably be screwed at this point because they'll be forced to give up track position at the end of the day as well. So it will be interesting to see how this fares as well in terms of these guys, especially with the very technical parts of the circuit as well. I do remember a really nice battle between Ismail Fassi and Mirko Siriano in season 30 in PSF1. That was very entertaining. Santeri as well was also in that fight. I remember that being quite a good race. Season 29 as well. I remember seeing Jordan won one of his first. Actually, no, it was one of his first races in PSF1 was season 27, but season 29 he won there again with a few other drivers as well. Obviously, Louis Welsh has won here. Blizzard has won here as well. Wilson Hughes has won here as well. So these guys can join the list of names through here as we're coming up to lap 16. Everyone is getting so close and towards that source chain. Blimey.
Yeah, and what I was reacting to there actually wasn't the guys up front. It was Nando, Tokyo drifting through the bus stop chicane. If that was not 10 for style, I do not know what is. Right at all, right on the back of him. But we are going to get Brothers now on the back of Sam Gamer. And now they're going to go side by side. Bit of lag actually from the Canadian as he goes now to the inside line. Maybe the McLaren's going to try and block him off. Brothers are going to have to go maybe to the inside line on both to try and get the move done. In towards Lacombe they go. Key in their lead. Sam Gamer still in second, but Brothers will have the run. Coming on the exit now, Malmedy running down the hill in towards Bruxelles. They're still side by side on the Alpine. Surely going to come out on top, and Sam Gamer relinquishes position. Brothers doing his into second. And the fact that I was saying the mediums are going off just comes to show you can overtake in a set of 11 lap old mediums against a guy who's there on a set of 11 lap old hards. But if I was in Sam Gamer's shoes, if I was in Sam Gamer's shoes though, Jess, I wouldn't panic. I'm still in the best position in the race.
I think I was seeing Nando and Ryan fighting as well, so I was running on board with them, and then I forgot that it was Brothers that you were talking about as well. There's just so much action going on as well, and there has been a prediction in the chat that someone thinks that Kazil can win this race as well. It depends on punchers. That could be interesting, and wow. So, and also Dirk said he'd done 18 laps on hard in F2 and had 80% tyre wear. No puncher. So if Dirk could do it, I think Sam and Jay Van Bos could do it, but I'm a bit worried about the ones with the mediums. If someone could say how long their mediums last in a Belgian Grand Prix race, that would be absolutely amazing. And there's been some people in the chat talking about Sam, and it's just great to see the improvement from game cycle to game cycle. I haven't seen him much in the last few game cycles, but coming into F123, wanting to make a comeback, was on the pace straight away, and now he's in PSF1 and doing a splendid job.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, fair play to ET8 for bringing him along. Of course, he's now part of Parnell Racing, but ET8 were his team. ET8 were the ones that brought Sam Gamer to us, and he's doing a phenomenal job there in P3, but maybe not for long, because Jerry Van Bussel's on the back. Brad is catching Keane quickly, but not going to get the job done, and same with Jerry Van Bussel on the back of Sam Gamer, not going to get the job done, and in fact, no job's done until Lacombe once again on lap 17 out of 22. 5.5 laps remaining. There is a yellow flag out on track, and there's Jerome, who was spun coming through Stavolo. He's got the car back going in the right direction. I'm just checking to see if he's got any damage on the car. No, he hasn't. Just a spin coming through Stavolo, so Jerome down in 19th position. No late VSC or safety car. However, I've just said that, and the Aston Martin and Mubarak has spun coming through turn number 1. He hasn't got in the wall either. And Tom and Yossi are side by side in the foreground and short, and a known private battle for 15th, and Yossi through, and he's into 15th position respectively. But Kean leading the way from Brothers in second, Sam Gamer in third. But again, look at Brothers' tyres compared to Sam Gamer. Coming through this back part of the track, coming through Stavolo now at the end of sector 2. Sam Gamer's hards look better compared to Brothers on that set of mediums. And again, if I was in the Canadian shoes right now, I would not be panicking, because I know, A, I've got the best tyres in the race, and B, I've probably got better pace than these guys as well.
I think one word beginning with P is going to be going through Sam Gamer's mind, and that is patience. Patience is a virtue, Sam, as he heads towards the final few laps of this Belgian Grand Prix. It's been great to watch this race. The driving standards for some drivers have been questionable, but for a lot of other drivers, it's been amazing to watch as well. Kian doing a great job leading the way, but will he get those tyres to the end of this race? Same with Aurelien and same with Marlon. We have seen in the chat that the mediums can only last 16 laps, so we are getting towards that time where we could be achieving puncher territory. So I think it's really going to be trying to get as much points as you possibly can now, rather than potentially getting the win. Not gonna lie as well, Sam Gamer. Sam Gamer is doing a much better job on these hards at the moment, and even Jay Van Bussel's catching up as well. I'm gonna predict it right now, and I know people are gonna be angry when I say this, James. I think it's gonna be a Sam and Jay Van Bussel victory battle at the moment. As Mubarak has spun again.
Yeah, and this is him coming in the pit lane. Either spot and pressure the compound tyres on, or he's going to retire. He knows. He is so frustrated. You can tell by the wheel. He's still going. Maybe he'll retire in the pit box, though, is what I'm thinking. He's going to be passed by Yaron as well. He's going to be right down the back of the field, but he could stay the fastest lap point, of course, away from everyone, which is why I think he's going to continue on, potentially out on track. But Kean back at the forefront, leading the way from Brothers in second, Sam Gamer in third. The other P word that comes to my mind, certainly, rather than patience, is punctures. Because Brothers and Kean, in terms of their tyres, I have Brothers at about 60-65% in terms of tyre wear. Kean probably more towards the 60% range, and Sam Gamer's probably more at the 50% range right now. So Sam Gamer's got 10% fresher tyres compared to everyone. Bradders and Kean in second and in first and second doing a fantastic job, but it's just a matter of if not when for Sam Gamer to get these moves done. Surely he's got much fresher tyres, as could be told into turn number 1 with that bit of contact on Bradders in the back there at La Source. But Sam Gamer there in third, doing a good job, but he doesn't want to get back close because they would be causing contact and they would be causing more slap wrists.
It's getting very tense, isn't it, between the top three? We don't know who's going to make it at the moment, and you can see that Sam really wants to go for it as well. He is not waiting around much longer, but look at that. Brad is trying to close the door, heading towards that com. It's getting closer and closer. We do not know who's going to win. Let us know in chat. Who do you think's going to win? Will the mediums push on to the end, or will the hards remain supreme? And which driver will come out on top? Very tight, heading towards its corner right now. Very understeery part of the circuit. Sam Gamer going to try and use his ERS2 potential. He's not going to get past Pooh on that. Would be huge risk from the Williams driver if he could do so at the moment. But heading towards Fania and Campus. I don't know what corner you call that, but I think you could call it multiple corners as well. It's a left-right sequence anyway. This is called Stabilo and leads to another long straight. Sam Gamer could get into the bus stop chicane as well. Dirt Things, Kian wins, Sam P2, Batters P3. Jensen saying Sam and Jerry will pass eventually, I think. Alex saying mediums, I reckon, will fully die next lap. Coverski says Sam will not get past too much downforce. So a lot of predictions there in the chat. I don't know what's going to happen here, and this is very exciting. Oh!
It is. Needing more contact in the background shot there as well. I think Marlon was very late on the brakes down and rallying, but Sam Gamer all over the back of Bradders. I keep on going about the Canadian, but there he goes to the inside line. Turn number 1, that's far too late on the brakes. Contact with Bradders, and surely he's going to let Bradders go for position. Fair play there to Canadian, but now let's Kean escape up the road by 0.7 of a second. So now, game on for the race, and Sam Gamer needs to utilise his Jerry Van Bussel side by side, gets the move done, up the hill, yes he goes off track, but gets the move done, coming through a Rouge and Radion, the Ferrari absolutely from a bolt out of the blue, gets the move done, and all of that was from unsettling the car out of the source. Aurelian now getting the move on Sam Gamer, and now Aurelian, on the back of Marlon, getting the job done as well, so Aurelian drops down, Sam Gamer back through and he's into fourth, all kicking off now in Belgium. Kian, Bradders, Jerry, now the top three.
This is going to be some popcorn moments. Grab snacks, grab everything right now, because it's going to be in some insane last 3 laps. We've got people that will have tyres that will definitely not make it to the end. We have people that are on hard tyres and more durable tyres. We have people on soft tyres in the background as well, as Tom gets past the Aussie up into P15. Not the race they would have wanted so far as well. We all scored the battle for the last point of Ryderdale for the Congan, Nando and Francesco. No penalties as well from any of the drivers in the game, which is very, very great to see at the moment. As Morbrike is out of the race, he's retired in the pit lane, I believe. No safety car. We only had one so far this race, and that was near the beginning. And it will be interesting to see if Jerry could get away with cutting Radion, or will that move allowed to stand? And once again, all the top three, Marcados as well is in this, and trying to go down the inside of Marlon in towards the start-finish straight. And here comes Marcados. And that was a great move from him up to 6th place. Don't count him out for the win of this race, because he can still get the win too.
He could indeed. Fantastic racing out on track. Fantastic move that was by Marcados. Turned the outside into the inside. Brilliant stuff. And the Mercedes knows how to drive, that's for sure. The Jerry Van Bussel now comes at Bradders, comes at Kian. And now we're going to see all hell break loose in Belgium. Bradders getting the lead from Jerry Van Bussel in second. Kian, look at that for straight line speed. Very much lacking in terms of speed. They're down to P3. Sam Gamer very late on the brakes. Very much rear locks there. There's 3 wide in the background. Ryderdale's through on Nando. Nando through on Ryan. Ryderdale goes a little bit too deep. Here comes Nando around the outside, coming through Mulmedy, now towards the inside line, in towards Bruxelles. This is just manic mania mayhem out on track. It's Bradders from Jerry, from Kian the top 3, Sam Gamer in third, and Sam Gamer all over the back of Kian. Can't get the job done, but Bradders, Jerry Van Bussel leading. If Jerry Van Bussel, if he cut Radion, which I saw from my camera angle he did, his race win, potentially, that could get reported and that could get removed.
We saw that in real life as well, someone do exactly similar to what Jerry Van Bussel did, and they got a 5-second penalty for it. So I'm thinking it could be a 5-second penalty for Jerry Van Bussel, but we will have to call out the race as it is. So if Jerry Van Bussel finishes as race winner, we will have to call it the race winner, and then obviously we will have to announce any post-stewards inquiries. But you never know, it may be judged to be A-OK for Jerry Van Bussel. We don't know. So Jerry Van Bussel will have to fight like his life depends on it currently at the moment as we're about to approach the final lap of this Belgian Grand Prix. It's been absolutely amazing. A bit of mixed bag in terms of racecraft, but near the front, it's been absolutely insane. It's been the battle for the lead throughout the entirety of the race. Will we see the P word? Will we see some punches on these mediums? They're pushing those mediums to the limit. We don't know who's going to win this one. Here comes Mr. Van Bussel, the driver that has won in PSF2 last season. He's won the championship last season. Jay Van Bussel goes for the lead, but his teammate gets a 3-second time penalty, but enough for that at the moment. Nando to the inside of Ryder that up into 8th spot. Marcados take a fight with Aurelian into Wolves.com. Just about gets the move done. Marcados up to 5th. My voice is dead. James, carry on.
Key in there as well, really under pressure from Sam Gamer. Sam Gamer's almost pushing, bump drafting the McLaren coming through X corner and now down in towards P1. He's not going to get the job done here, but he is very much lacking in terms of the ERS. Jerry is now gone. That's the race win now pretty much done. It's now Bradders holding on for second, and is he potentially getting a bit of blistering on the front right? I think he is, and he's beginning to lose a little bit of pace. Ian now, all of a sudden, is coming back. Sam Gamer makes a mistake there, coming through the Panya chicane, and now Marcados is all over the back of him there in 5th position. It's still not over and done with. Jerry Van Bussel, that was gone. It's the mediums to hards, the tyre you want to be on. The strategy that I called out for Alfie Butcher in PCF1 is going to be the strategy that carries through here. Jerry Van Bussel now coming through Blanchimont for the final time, with Marcados hunting down Sam Gamer for 4th and 5th position. Could be quite close into the braking zone. And now Marcados looks the outside line. He's very late on the brakes. He's far too late on the brakes. Sam Gamer's going to pick up 4th, surely. Jerry Van Bussel, though, on the run to the line. Wins here in Belgium. Bradders there in 2nd. Kean there in 3rd. And Sam Gamer does keep that 4th position in the end, with Marcados just out-lunging himself into the bus stop chicane. Already in there and 6th. What could have been for him if his tyres were fresh enough? To be fair, congratulations to everyone that made that without getting punctures. Comes to show we probably don't deserve the fee from our commentary tonight. Put it that way in terms of the
We don't get any fee, James.
We don't get any fee, but then again, I think these drivers deserve a fee for that performance out on track. On that 18-lap mediums, on that 18-lap old hards, fair play to them. I certainly would have not got those tyres towards the end of the race. We see Wiener, Yossi, Tom and Jeroen coming toward the line as well, further down the field. And Jeroen as well looking for a fastest lap of the race potentially as well, along with Tom. So that's going to be interesting. But Jerry Van Bussel out on top. Bradders in 2nd, Keane in 3rd. But does Jerry Van Bussel, he cut the chicane coming through Radion. I was on board with Jerry Van Bussel halfway through a Rouge. And it looked to me as if he had to be forced off track by the man that he overtook in Sam Gamer. So I personally think it could be okay for Jerry Van Bussel to keep the race win, but stewards and other people might have to decide that.
Yeah, and the beauty of the stewards is they will have multiple POVs, so whoever reports it will have to be asked for multiple POVs from the drivers involved, so they'll have a bit of an idea more than us, because with the cameras that we have, it's very, very limited. And if you want to watch something as to how stewards reports get sorted out and stuff like that, watch the video from George Morgan on his Twitter. It explains it very well and in a better way than I would have done. So if you want to find out how stewards reports are looked at, they don't just look at the stream. It has to be reported first, because otherwise it won't get looked at.
It won't get looked at indeed. And like Marcados' penalty last week, of course, that 5-second penalty didn't get reported. His race win that he had out on track in the end taken away because of that 5-second penalty that he got picked up. And of course Ryan took the race win last week. But here in the now and then, fantastic win of course from the man of Jerry Van Bussel out on track. The Dutchman leading home, by the way, a PSR 1-2-3, which just comes to show their dominance here tonight in Belgium, that's for sure. But Jerry Van Bussel takes the race win. His last race win, by the way, was last season, season 33 in F2. and he took, of course, 6 race wins that season as well, including 5 in a row. And Jerry Van Bussel now is a PSF1 race winner. From 9th on the grid, takes the race win.
Yep, indeed. And I believe, I'm just trying to think, it was Austria, Bahrain, Azerbaijan, China and Mexico where he won in F2 last season. I don't see a Belgium in there. Oh, he got P2 in Belgium in season 32 when he was in F2. I didn't know he was in F2 in season 32. Shows the progression that Jerry Van Bussel has got on this game. But let's run through your order then. We got Van Bussel from Bradders, Kian, Sam Gamer, Marcos Aurelian, Marlon Riderdown, Nando and Ryan, your top 10. And we got Stefano Francesco, great race for him on his debut. And we got Vodacon because there's a Wiener, Yossi, Tom, your own. And we got 2 retirements on more Borak and Max. And obviously Max caused that safety car at the pretty much beginning of the race, which pretty much changed all the strategies.
It did change all the strategies. It changed the complexion of the race as well, because at the lap 4, lap 5, when the safety car came out, I was very worried in terms of how the drivers were going to get to the end of the race in terms of their tyre wear. In the end, you should not be worried. These guys are professionals. They're better than us, certainly. That's why we're in the commentary box, because I don't think we could have made the end of the race on those tyres for sure. But it just comes to show, I think, the real consistency that they've showed. And now, with that race win, provisionally, Jerry Van Bussel. Now, I have to do some quick maths calculations with my brain, which is going to be not that great whatsoever for you guys there on the stream. But I am going to try and calculate the current order of the standings. Bradders, I think, will lead the championship. It is roughly, I'm trying to pick this up, I think it is a 6-point swing from Bradders to Marcadors. From Marcadors to Bradders. So Bradders will be 2 points clear at the championship. But Jerry Van Bussel, with that win, if he keeps that race win, will be on 52 points. And therefore, I think will be 3rd position, just a couple of points behind the race winner of tonight of Jerry Van Bussel won the race tonight, but of course of the championship leader, the new championship leader in Bradders.
Oh, so that championship is really hotting up then, and if you want to find out how this championship is going to fare, we got Jeddah next week, and Jeddah never disappoints.
It doesn't, and you can tell I'm already looking forward to Jeddah. The racing around there, normally insane, normally chaotic, normally really good as well. So hopefully with the F1 guys, again putting on a real good show tonight in Belgium, hopefully they show more of the same as we come to Jeddah. I have asked the guys, by the way, if they do want top 3 interviews. It is very, very hot, by the way, here in the commentary box. Certainly where I live, certainly where Jess lives as well. I think we'll be going to shorts weather tomorrow, potentially.
I'm wearing a dress tomorrow.
Respectfully. You're wearing a dress tomorrow. I don't blame you for wearing a dress tomorrow, that's for sure. I'll be going out in shorts, which is very, very rare for me to go out in shorts. But what these guys, I think, showed out on the track tonight is, yes, they can race. Yes, you can get aggressive. But yes, you can overtake. And that's what we showed in bucket loads, hopefully, tonight. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it at home. And if you did, like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. And, of course, you can have a look at our title sponsor, GT Omega. 5% off, of course, on all GT Omega products. You can use code PSGL at checkout. 5% off.
You saved me a job there, James. Thank you very much. Because I was going to say all that. So, yeah, thank you very much, James. Anyone waiting in the waiting room, or are they deserting us?
Jerry Van Bussel has said he'll be there soon. I think they're just having a big old debrief, potentially. I have a feeling Mies has been engineering the 3 of them, so they are going to be joining us. They're going to be joining us in the next couple of minutes, I think.
Oh, perfect. That is great to see as well. But any standout drivers, apart from obviously our top few drivers that potentially delivered?
Well, I was going to say Aurelian, but then he buggered it all up by finishing in P6. And the man in the end who finished behind him in qualifying, Jerry Van Bussel, took the race win. So maybe I should have been a little bit more aggressive in terms of my race predictions. But no, Jerry Van Bussel, I think, certainly deserving that race win, possibly deserving driver of the day as well, because Izzle, by the way, very unhappy with some of the driving that went on there in the chat as well. He is pretty much fuming, I think, in terms of what we can say
Not
from
surprised.
his comments. Yeah, and also I think Riderdown, I think, drove very well. Nando drove very well from 17th up to 9th on the grid. And Francesco Largo saying he's going to get that point. Of course, he picked up, I think, a very late penalty, or he might be.
He did pick up a penalty. Yeah, he did.
He picked up that penalty. So he's already said in the chat, and I saw the comment from him saying he's going to get that removed and hopefully get that removed, and then it'll be a point. So if that is the case, well done to him on that potential point on his first race here in PSF1.
Yeah, and it just goes to show it doesn't matter when you sign up, as long as you have the pace, you can do it as well. Come on, Van Bussell, we got stuff to do.
He is keeping us wait. He's a race winner. He is keeping us wait.
He is celebrating with the champagne, I could tell you that as well. But of course, we've got Jeddah next time in just under 7 days' time. Always delivers, of course. It's one of the most high-speed tracks on the F1 game. Absolutely, I hate racing it. Love commentating it.
I hate racing it, but absolutely love commentating on it too. I heard a mic, by the way, move, and that is why, because I have just spied the man who's joined us in the waiting room with Jerry Van Bussell.
There you go. Now you can.
Now we can. Now we can. Let us try and get him in. Hopefully it all works okay. I can't move people. Oh, hang on. No wonder. I'm actually clicking on the waiting room instead of the actual thing.
I'll drag him.
With me 1 second.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. We can now speak to the man who hopefully can hear us. The man who finished a course in P1. It is Mr. PSR, Jerry Van Bussell. And Jerry, fantastic win, of course, out on track. P9 on the grid. Talk us through it and talk us through that move at the Rouge as well.
Oh, I don't know. It's a difficult one. It wasn't an easy one. Luckily with safety car, of course. But yeah, my engineer said like, yeah, take the softs and you will see what's gonna happen. And then the train, the number 2 and number 1 went away. So yeah, I was hoping for a safety car because I knew I never gonna catch up. And then safety car came. So yeah, it was almost a perfect night, strategy-wise.
Yeah, almost the perfect night strategy-wise. Perfect night in terms of you getting that race win. First win, of course, since season 33 of F2 last season as well. And that must now fill you with a lot of confidence going forward in the final 5 rounds of the season.
Yeah, it feels way better than the last 2 races, like out of the points. Well, I'm still trying to fight for a championship, but yeah, this is making it a lot better, yeah, again.
It is, and of course, I was doing some quick calculations. I think you're only going to be maybe, 6 or 7 points behind Markadors and Bradders in terms of that championship fight. So in terms of that fight going into the final few rounds of the season, what is your overall focus? Is it to get that championship victory on your first time in F1?
Well, that's obviously the goal after the standings, like after race 3, I was already in the top 5, I think. So then I knew, I want to go for the championship and try it at least. But yeah, now they added like 2 extra races on the calendar. I don't know what's gonna be, but I knew that Jeddah and Mexico will be a good one for me. If I look to Suzuka and Imola, they were quite poor, like pace-wise. So yeah, that will be way better, I feel like, in Jeddah and Mexico. So yeah, we're gonna see. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic to see. Obviously, your pace is right there. Your form is right there as well going forward. So wish you the best of luck, of course, for Jeddah and for Mexico. Jess, any questions?
Well, I have to say, Jerry, massive congratulations on your first win in this tier as well. Going into the final few rounds of the season, are you still confident about that you could win at the F1 Championship after winning F2 last season?
Well, this game, everyone knows it's not that easy to show the difference in pace. Like maybe the leader also today could drive everyone out of the DRS, but yeah, in this game it's also almost impossible. So it's very difficult to be consistent winning again like last season, and that would never happen, I think. But yeah, I need to try to score as much points as I can, and then hope as much as I can.
That is my question, James. All done.
That is all mine as well, I think. Congratulations, of course, on the race win, Jerry. Go and enjoy your evening.
Yes, thank you. Great evening.
You too, and that is Mr. Jerry Van Bossel, who has spoken to us very eloquently, I've got to say, in terms of his interview. I don't think we'll be getting anyone else, so I think that is the interviews for tonight. And my PS4, by the way, may be overheated as well, and all of that, so...
It's the
fair
summer. It's the summer. So, yes, we've already plugged the sponsors, so we don't need to do that again. But, of course, we could plug the other streams that are going on as well. Like James was alluded to earlier, Wednesday night at 7 p.m, you can catch the big boys, PCF1, at 7 o'clock with George Morgan and Jack Canaan take you through the action. Jack's really doing 2 more rounds before he has to do his Masters. So, best of luck to Jack, by the way, on that one. But I can't wait to hear his voice for the final his final 2 rounds, I have to say. And of course you got us next Monday at 8 p.m, but we will leave you with our title sponsor for one final time. Have a good evening. We'll see you next week at 8 o'clock for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix in Jeddah. Bye bye, take care.
He's got the inside. Orpheus is through on the left-hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Orpheus now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Orpheus wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.